What's going on, y'all? Excuse me, I'm kind of finishing up my breakfast this morning. Hopefully, y'all doing all right. Um, Hopefully, you've gotten an exercise session in. Some of you might work out at lunch, so if so, then that's cool too. I went to work out this morning, and as some of you may know, I work out outside, and here in Middle Georgia, it's pretty cold. It was no colder, no warmer than about 32 degrees. That's what my thermometer said in my car when I went to the where I usually work out. And the crazy thing is, like, right before I went out there, I had to go get some gas. So I stood outside to get gas, and then a thought came to my mind, and I almost grabbed onto the thought. Like, I'm actually looking at my thoughts like in real time. And it's like, um, you know what, man? I ain't doing the cold. I'm not doing the cold today. And that was the real thought that I had. But then I was like, gotta do it. I gotta do it. And so I did it. I did it. And it really was that simple. It's like literally, I knew that whenever I pulled up to the track, I knew that I was going to feel very uncomfortable, that I was going to get out. I knew that the wind was going to be blowing a little bit. Thankfully, it wasn't blowing that much, but I knew it was going to be real uncomfortable because it was so cold, freezing weather, frost on the ground, and all that kind of stuff. I knew it was going to feel like that, but I was like, I have to do it. I have to. I don't feel like it, but I have to go out there and get my workout in. So I did. So I pulled up to the track, you know, kind of sat in there for a little bit, kind of absorbed some more of that heat from my car. Then I turned my car off, got out, and started to walk around the car toward the track and felt the cold. I felt all of it. I felt all of it. And if anything, whenever it's a lot of times when I go out there to the track, I will walk a lap and then get started. But when it's cold like that, it really encourages you to go ahead and kind of get your heart pumping so you can warm your body up. That's always kind of like the quote saving grace when you work out outside, in the cold, is that once you get going, then no matter how cold it is, you're gonna get warmed up. Now my hands are still very cold, but I could kind of deal with that mostly. Um, so I went out there and then very shortly thereafter got started running and warmed up. I warmed up and I did, a portion of my workout. I did cut my workout a little bit short because I wanted to get back here and eat some breakfast before I did this live here. But I did it. My workout today consisted of intervals. So I do like intervals on the track where I run 400 meters and then I walk. I was running 400, walking 100 meters, and then repeating that for a while. But now I decided to kind of opt for a little bit more recovery. So I run 400 meters, I walk 200 meters, then I repeat that, and I repeat it, and I repeat it. I repeated it. I did a total of 4 cycles of that, and I try to push myself in a 400. I have more capacity, but I was kind of holding back on that. But yeah, I kind of try to push myself when I'm running that 400 meters because my goal is not just to jog; it's really to get my heart going. It's really high intensity interval training, HIIT. Okay, so so yeah, that's what I did. That's what I did. And so if you're somebody who is if you're listening here in the United States, and it's definitely wintertime, and or it's not officially wintertime, but the weather feels like it. And so maybe you go to the gym and it doesn't matter. But either way, regardless, sometimes even if you go to the gym, people would be like, no, I'm not getting up early to go out there to the gym in the morning. It's cold. Look, it really is this simple. Decide in yourself what it is you want to do. If you really want to be this healthier version of yourself, if you really want to be this more fit, trim version of yourself, it's just some things you got to do. Nobody can really save you from that. You can't. To live in this world means that you have to do certain things if you want your body to be a certain way. Accept it. Then learn what it takes. Okay. And so, like, for example, with me, I'm wanting to have a certain level of fitness. I want to be able to run a 400-meter run in, under a minute. I want to be able to run a mile in, I think it's under 7 minutes as of now. I have other fitness related goals. So I must do certain things. Okay. I have to. I have to do my intervals. I have to run sprints. I have to get in all my calisthenics, all my numbers and whatnot. I have quotas with, depending on the day, I have quotas for the different exercises that I need to get in. So I must do those things. And that's the kind of attitude you have to have. Then, if it's cold, if the cold is like a hindrance, bundle up, but then also know that once you get out there for a while, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna warm up. So just bundle. And matter of fact, you'll probably have to shed layers. So bundle up and get yourself out there. Embrace the the cold or whatever it is that makes you feel uncomfortable, because that's part of it. A lot of times, here's the deal. I think a lot of times what really holds us back is a couple of different things. One, we let me think about how I'm gonna phrase this. We tend to feel like, you see somebody's results, but you don't really have a full comprehension of the level of discomfort that it takes. To build muscle is a lot. Like, even for example, I think about bodybuilders, even the ones who like take steroids and stuff like that. Now, I would never advocate for taking steroids. In the industry, people do that, to go above and beyond and gain massive amounts of muscle. And obviously, there's risk with that. I always think it's very risky to kind of do anything, you know, unnaturally with hormones, but that's a whole another thing. But there's a level of exercise, regardless if you take steroids or not, that is required to build muscle. Like, really, and that's something I've really learned within the past probably 5 years or so, that I realized I didn't really understand before, that if you really want to build muscle, like, you really have to tire your muscle out. Like, you really have to tire it out. You can't just do a set and just kind of be like, okay, I did it. You have to get your muscle tired, if that makes sense. You want to get it to the point of near failure, if not failure, where you about can't do anymore. Um, because that is like really breaking your muscle down enough so that it, and stimulating the muscle in such a way that that it responds by growing, substantially, you know. And so that's why very heavy weight wouldn't work, because you can't really get enough reps with that. And even very lightweight, like ultra lightweight, may not necessarily work, because you can't really get your muscles tired on it per se. So anyway, regardless of if you are a bodybuilder who takes steroids or whatever, it takes a lot of work to build muscle. It takes a lot of work to build muscle. So, so if that's something that you really want to do, you have to go ahead and set your mind and understand that this is going to be uncomfortable here. This is just kind of part of the process. So, and then another thing is that, just generally, not only do we not necessarily anticipate how uncomfortable it is to get into a certain level of shape, certain level of health, especially if you're not in that state now. Not only do we underestimate, but also we tend to like very much dislike it. Okay, so we tend to be, and it's kind of like, per se, not necessarily our fault that we are so not fond of discomfort, because we live in a society that has kind of like shaped everything around convenience. Everything is accessible, easy, and then we're made to believe that all things in life are supposed to be that way, and they're not. And so what happens is, I think what it ends up doing to us is making us kind of get a wrong idea about this health stuff, and even really life in general, and making us kind of turn away from something if it isn't given to us, or if it doesn't come very easily. And so that's really harming us. But that's why I say, even if it's a bodybuilder who's taking steroids and stuff, I know I'm looking at a person who has put in some very, very hard work to get to that level of muscle, because You have to put in a lot of work to build muscle like that, or athletes who have incredible stamina, incredible skill. You have to put in a lot of work. So that's what I'm telling you. If you really want to accomplish your health goals, you got to be willing to be uncomfortable. You can't let the cold hold you back. You can't let rain hold you back. I wouldn't say exercise in the lightning per se, but so don't go saying I said anything like that. I would discourage that. But you have to be willing to go ahead and make stuff happen, even when the circumstances aren't perfect. Because we already know there is no perfect situation. When the sky when it's 75 degrees, the sun is in the right place, it's not, it's little if no, to no clouds in the sky and the slight breeze, the birds are chirping just right and all this kind of stuff. Today is the day that I exercise. You know that every day is not going to be like that. Very few days are going to be like that. But if you want to accomplish something, then you don't let your outside circumstances dictate whether or not you move in that direction or not. Okay. So, as you guys know, on this live, I answer your health and fitness questions. So, if you come on and have any health and fitness related questions, make sure you put them in the chat because that's what we're here for, to answer your health and fitness questions. Um, yeah, I'm probably going to cut this one a little short. I'm about to go and get my coffee and get on to work. I have maybe a video or two that I'm going to post, and yeah. But even after that, if you have any questions about what I've talked about here this morning, feel free to pop on and um, let me know what your questions are. Okay. All right, y'all. Just showing Back to Basics Fitness. You know, telling you like I always do that your doctor's not responsible for your health. You are. Y'all have a great day.